afraid of no ghosts.
What's going on, guys? So we are back with the second half of our last video, which is issue 18. This is going to be 65 and 66. And the reason we kind of split up the box is because it is a lot of wires and electrical. So we figured this one's going to take a little bit longer. So we wanted to kind of split it up and take our time with this part, because this part's going to be harder than most. So here we are, issue 65, or issue 18, parts pack 65. And what this is going to be is basically we're going to have the speaker and a bunch of other wires. Thankfully, you know, everything is marked on there with letters and everything, so it shouldn't be too bad to put together. But it is going to be challenging. This is one of the more challenging parts packs because of how many wires there actually is. So we wanted to take our time. So are you ready to get into this thing and get the wires? And also, we're going to be attaching the inside pieces to the actual frame itself. So everything's going to be coming together. Last video, we mounted the dash to the floor and everything, to that long piece. Now, everything is getting mounted to the frame itself. And I cannot wait to see this thing all together.
Yeah.
And all the wires put together. Hopefully we have no issues with the wires. I'm going to take my time. Well, we're going to take our time and ensure that it's done correctly. But I have seen other people, they've had issues with the wires, either breaking or getting snagged or something like that. So hopefully that's not going to happen to us. And then maybe once we get everything hooked up, we should be able to put batteries in and see the lights work.
I'd love to do that.
Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if that's going to work out yet, but we'll see how it happens and how everything works out. Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure if we hooked everything up right, we should be able to do a test on the lights to make sure that they're functioning properly before we move any further. Because if it's not working properly, we got to figure out why, and then we got to either contact Eagle Moss or fix it ourselves. So let's get into this thing and start where we left off, and it's going to be issue 18, parts pack 65. Let's do it. All right, guys, here we go. Stage 65, PCB, speakers, and wires. And yes, there is a lot of wires. Lots and lots of wires. So here we are with everything. We're fitting the PCB, which is basically the control board. And it's going to lay down, and there's a total of 4 EM screws. And then those are going to plug into the back to the switch itself. And then everything else you want to kind of lay out, kind of stretch the wires out, ensure that everything is not all tied up. You want to make it look really good. Ensure that that's connected to the back. That's where the switch is going to be. And then after you get all that laid out and kind of organized, down here at the bottom, we're going to be installing the speaker. And that is calling for 2 QM screws holding down the speaker. And then there is a wire right there holding the speaker down. And that is it so far. So there is a lot of wires.
There is.
And here is our wires right here. And it looks really bad. It looks like a mess. It looks like it's going to be a lot of work. But as long as you organize everything, get everything kind of looking good, it should be simple as plug and play. But we're going to get this going right now and show you guys what it looks like after it's laid out in the car. All right, guys, so there we go. We have the board mounted right here. And the way we had to do it was we had to kind of configure this thing, because I tried putting it in one way and then it wasn't working. The holes weren't lining up. So then what I did was I kind of rotated around to where I found where the holes all lined up. And this is how we have it. Now, you want to kind of keep these wires flat as possible. And the shorter ones all go out to the side. And then now we can continue to connect everything And we're going to connect the switch wires to everything, and then we got to install this speaker, and then this wire right here will connect to the speaker. So we're going to do this right now and then show you the end result once we have everything connected. All right, guys, so there we go. We have the wires all laid out. Still kind of looks like a mess, but it's good, I promise. So we did also put down the tape that's provided. It's a little black tape to hold down this piece. You want to kind of make these flat right here in the middle piece there, and then it angles out the driver's side door area. So if I could scoot this back a little bit, you can kind of see right there, it all leads out, and then everything is going to be tucked up in here once we get the body on and all of that. But for now, this is good. So everything at this point is connected, and now we can move on to the next part of this, and that is actually attaching our floor and rear section to the frame itself. And right here we're attaching everything, and that's going to be held down with a handful of JP screws all throughout the body under here. So you want to flip this over, be careful that we are not breaking anything, you're not damaging the dash. But it's going to be a little tricky because you do have to get the dash through the... You do have to be careful so that way you don't damage the steering column whenever you put it through the dash. So be careful of that. And we'll get the body on and everything screwed in and show you how it looks. Also, you got to be careful you don't pinch any wires or accidentally damage the wires, because that's going to be a pain for you in the long run, and we don't want that. We want to try to make this as easy and as simple as possible. So we're going to get this going and show you the end result. All right, guys, so as you get this on, you want to make sure that you're not pinching any of these wires in the actual dash itself as you're mounting it, because we did have a wire that was kind of stuck back here. And then it does take some finagling to kind of get this thing on the frame itself. And then back here on the side, you want to make sure that none of the wires are smashed or pinched underneath here. So now we can flip this around or upside down and then screw all the screws that we need to. All right, now we have the body on the car itself right there. So now we need to attach all of these wires, and it's simple. It should be simple. It's just a matter of matching all of the letters together and ensuring that they are correct. And then back here on the back, all of these wires coming out are going to be held together with this little plastic piece right here. It's going to kind of hold these up into the inside fender well here. That way they're up and out of the way, and then whenever it comes time to connect the rest, we'll be able to get those done. So right now, we'll get all these wires connected, show you the end result, and soon, this front section here, if I can move my camera, this front section here will look a lot more neater, hopefully, with everything connected that's supposed to be connected. So we'll get to this right now. All right, guys, there we have it. We have all of the connectors from the dash all connected, and it's just as simple as matching up the letters to the corresponding wire and ensuring that it's all good to go. Now, obviously, this is all going to be hidden, but you want to make sure that it looks decent. It's not all much. It's not a rat's nest. You want to make sure it looks decent. This is about as good as I'm going to get it. And then these are your extra wires. There should be 5 of them left. And then right back here at the end, there we go. Man, this car is getting heavy, that is for sure. Right back here, we have the bracket attached, and all these wires are kept nice and out of the way. And obviously, this will all tuck away later on after the remainder of the wiring gets hooked up. So for now, we are going to set that right there. Now we do have some leftover parts in this pack. There is these wires right here, and those we'll be using in the next parts pack, I believe. And then there's also 4 of these little stands here. I'm not sure exactly what these are for yet, but they are left over. And that is it for issue 65. Parts pack 65 is done. And now we can move on to stage 66, parts pack 66. And it is a lot more wires. So let me get this reconfigured and I'll show you what we are working with. All right, there we go, parts pack 66. And again, it's a lot more wiring. So we will get into this. And it looks like we are utilizing the wires from the other pack in this. And again, you want to make sure you're looking at all this, reading it, and fitting everything accordingly. And then the parts packs that we're working with, just more wires, and it looks like a few switches here and there. So we will figure out where this goes together and start wiring this thing. But for now, right up here in the front, we are going to be attaching the headlights, it looks like. So fitting the LEDs. And again, right here, I believe it is going to be these ones right here, but I will ensure that it is done correctly and show you the end result. All right, guys, we are done finally with parts pack 66. And we now have a rat's nest of wires and switches and everything. And right down here, we have lots of wires going all over the place. Now, they will have their own designated area once we get them attached, obviously, to where they're supposed to go. But for now, they are kind of just out of the way. So now what you need to do is put 6 AAA batteries in the car right underneath here. And then down here, we'll flip our switch on. And you want to do the function test of the car. So right away, you'll see our interior dome lights are on. And that is very cool. So you have 2 LED lights there for the inside light. And those should turn off with the switches here, which are the door switches. So now, obviously, on the inside here, we go through our function test, and right here, your first switch, you have a click on, and we should have headlights. And we do have 4 headlights, as well as brake lights. Kind of move our wires over here. We do have brake lights. And if I turn that off, well, if you look, also, the dash light itself lights up. So we're going to turn that off real quick. And right here, push down the brake pedal, you have brake lights. And then turn that back on, or for our headlights, push it and it lights up brighter just like it would in a real car. Very, very cool. So, to our first issue that I have noticed. Somehow our switches are messed up. So, this should be the start of the car. It should start it and have the motor running. That's not correct. Somehow, the next button over, if I could show you, right there, if I push that, that's the horn. And then the next button starts the car. So the car is started, but it's supposed to start by this button. It starts by the first radio button. That's not correct. I don't know what to do. I don't know if somehow I got the wires mixed up underneath the dash, or if it's wired incorrectly on the switchboard, or what. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look back in the previous issues where we did the wiring for this and figure out if that is the correct wiring. If not, then I'm going to have to figure out a way to switch those out. That way everything is correct. Because I believe that first radio button is going to be for the lights. I'm not sure. So then that brings us to the last radio button.
Can I do the last one?
You want to push the last radio button?
Yeah.
Last radio button.
That is cool.
Obviously there's no lights flashing, but we do have an awesome siren.
Now that is cool.
That is extremely cool. So now, my only concern is that. Is it the wires are mixed up? Did I accidentally put the wrong wire on there? So now I'm double guessing myself, trying to figure out if that's incorrect. So I'm going to have to do some research, look back in the books and make sure that it is correct. I might have to reach out to Eagle Moss, or if anybody has an idea of what I may have done wrong, please tell me. That way I can fix it. I don't want to rip apart this whole dash and try to get in there because I don't know how to do that without removing this whole thing. And I really, really don't want to do that. But this is where we are in our process. We have all the lights working that are supposed to be working. This is coming along perfect. I cannot wait to finish this thing out. So that brings us to the end of parts pack 65 and 66. All right, there we go. We have issue 18 finally completed. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot harder with all the wiring. Now it honestly looks like a wiring mess right now. And I am really bummed out about the switches. I don't know if it's something that, you know, maybe we have backwards in there whenever we're putting it together. I am going to go through the old, our other editions and figure out if somehow maybe I switch those out. If that's the case, hopefully I can get into the dash and switch them.
Yeah.
Without having to take everything apart. I hope. But if you guys have run into the same issue, please let me know. It's just weird. It's one of those things that, you know, you think you have everything hooked up right, and then thankfully you test it and make sure, and then obviously if it's not correct, we have issues there. So hopefully it's nothing bad. Hopefully it's nothing serious, and it's something that we can easily fix. Otherwise, like I said, I'm gonna have to reach out to Eagle Moss, and hopefully they can help us out. But I think I should be able to fix it. I think it's just I think it's just switches that are in the wrong spot. Hopefully. So, but we'll see. I hope you guys liked this video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. What do you think of the build so far?
It's amazing so far.
It is awesome.
I'm impressed how well we did.
Hearing the Ecto 1 siren,
I was right.
That's the best ever. That's the best sound ever. I cannot wait to see the lights flashing and everything working properly and just all of it together and done. Something that we built together with our own hands. We didn't just go out and purchase it. We built it from parts.
From scratch. From
scratch. You know, it's a big giant model kit, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I don't know how often our videos are going to be coming out because of the shipping delays and everything like that, but we're going to try to knock them out as soon as they come in. we'll knock them out. I do have a few other boxes from Eagle Moss that I need to open, and we'll do. One of them being a very large box containing the body. Cannot wait to get into that and show you guys what it is and how cool this thing is gonna look. But again, I hope you guys liked this video. Comment down below. Let us know what you guys think so far. If you guys have any comments, concerns, questions, please feel free to ask. Feel free to say whatever you need to say. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. What is going on, guys? So I needed to add to our video because I did figure out why the switches were not working. And I also noticed something else. When I had moved the internal dome lights, they started flickering. Thought that was a little strange. Maybe it was a connection. But with further looking, it wasn't a connection. So I had to remove the entire interior that we already put on and try to figure out why the switches were messed up. So I do have to switch around a couple of the switches, which is no big deal. Just kind of going back a few steps before I go forward. But then as I pulled the body off, I noticed this. And this sucks. I don't know if I should try to repair it or if I should just try to contact Eagle Moss and see if they'll send out a new wire set. It really does suck, but I'm going to try to knock this out and see if I can fix it, at least where it's not shorting. This is what happened. So if you can see right there, this is the wire to the headlights, and it is messed up pretty bad. Apparently, whenever we put the body on, I thought I had these laying down flat and kind of in between this channel here. Well, this was actually right here, and it was pinched right inside. So I now have a damaged wire that is shorting out. I am going to try to separate these two wires and see if I can resolder those wires together and make a better connection. It may shorten this cable up a little bit, but it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be too short. I might be able to get that fixed. That's my only other option. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to contact Eagle Moss and pray that they will send out a replacement wire, and it's gonna have to be this entire wiring set because they can't just send out one wire. It's gonna be the whole thing. It sucks, it really does, but getting into it, this is what happens, you know. It's a setback, but hopefully we can move forward and get it fixed. All right, guys, so good news. I was able to pull the dash off and switch around the two switches. So now, if we hit the start button right here, it starts up like it's supposed to. And then the next button is going to be for the lights, which are not connected yet. And thankfully, the damaged wires were not that bad. I was able to get everything reconnected, and I put a little bit of electrical tape on there, ensure that the connection is good. No issues. I also put a little bit of tape underneath this just to make sure that these wires are protected and nothing was pinched. So everything is good to go, and it is fixed. Back on track.